This is Investment Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Daily live streaming interactive. Featuring Mrs. Backup. Subscribe, hit the notification, smash the likes. Now, here's Backup Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to Investment Perspectives, everybody. We're going to get into it right away here. Ripple ODL related transaction volume may look a little different this month. Our focus on supporting low value, high frequency payments is stronger than ever. Senior Vice President of Product Ashish Birla explains how Ripple is evolving with shifting global tide. Well, listen, we're going to break this down, and like I said, sometimes, and I learned this really a good reference from Michael McDaniel in the XRP Deep Dive Room, who really shined a light on how you got to go back and look at things from yesterday and beyond and compare them to the current conditions you're standing in today. And you can get a much clearer picture, and we're going to do that right now. Okay, so basically this came out from Ripple yesterday, so let's take a look at this really quickly. 3-minute read from Ashish Birla, and it is talking about staying the course with remittances and small medium enterprise payments. Now listen to this, because some people yesterday had a bit of a like, hey, what happened to the big value payments? Let's just go through this really quickly. With dramatic shifts in global economy, digital payment services are playing an increasing critical role for people worldwide. Crisis today highlights needs of digitization of cash, access, speed, and reliability, especially for those sending money home to loved ones. Across the globe, digitalization has increased rapidly, as much as 80% in Italy, for example. Global digital payment growth is accelerating too. The e-transactions increasing over 40%. In remittances, spiking for several payment providers, including Western Union and MoneyGram International. Digitalization of global payments can't come soon enough. The underlying infrastructure is siloed and complex, leading to significant delays and high transaction fees. To speed up this process, financial institutions pre-fund accounts. Pay attention to that. We're going to get into this in a second. In destination currencies. Pre-fund accounts in destination of currencies. But this is a costly endeavor that tie up assets and exposes companies to currency risk. Now more than ever, financial institutions need ODL service to provide instant global payments and meet market demand. Sending cash payment requires more working capital and resources than digital payments. Because the digital asset XRP can be sent directly, instantly, cost-effectively, without needing a central intermediary, XRP eliminates the additional cost associated with sending cash payments and can be used as an alternative to pre-funding. As a bridging tool in ODL, pay attention to these phrases that I'm stressing here. We're going to touch something here in a second. You're going to like it. The greater liquidity of XRP, the less the cost and risk in each transaction. ODL's benefit for eliminating pre-funding are especially important during times of crisis due to exposed risk and increased volatility. In early months of global crisis, currency volatility skyrocketed, with Mexican pesos devalued at more than 20% against the US dollar as an example. Ripple is able to alleviate the stress caused by pre-funding for our customers, enabling instant cross-border payments for consumers. They see the benefits of ODL as critical to their business, both maintaining and growing market share. So while the world changes around us, Ripple is staying the course. We are continuing to focus on supporting low-value, high-frequency payments with ODL. Though transaction volumes may look different in this new world, in particular, we are reducing emphasis on larger treasury payments, which are traditionally used to fund businesses and services in the absence of real-time transfers. To support individual low transactions, addressing the growing need in remittances and SME payments. This may reduce overall ODL transaction volumes. Still, because the benefits of ODL are so compelling for enabling the future of global payments, we anticipate businesses will support even more transactions than ever, even before, on RippleNet, and new additional connections on the network will take shape. Ripple is on track to open new ODL corridors this year, and we are onboarding new customers and working with existing customers to ramp up ODL volume in important corridors, including USD, MXN, the Philippine, Australian dollar to USD, and from Euro to USD, which has been very interesting to see this early on. Businesses everywhere are adapting to new normal, yet uncertainty remains a constant, and Ripple is here for our customers and their customers. People shouldn't have to worry when sending money abroad. Together, we can ensure that people everywhere have continued access to these services instantly, reliably, and affordably. If you're a financial institution interested in learning more about RippleNet's ODL service, its benefits for eliminating the need of pre-funding, we want to talk. Okay. Shout out to Ashish Burla. That's a really great article. So they're going after the lower value payments, right? Now, here was a great exchange. I want to get into this between, well, first there was some comments from Ashish Burla. I want to read around this article. And then there was a great exchange between Crypto Eddie, shout out to her, and getting the responses from Ashish. Let's look at this first. When we first conceived the idea for ODL, we identified low value, high value payments as a sweet spot where customers would see greatest value in time and money saved in using XRP. These often translate to remittance, e-commerce, and SME payments. Now, I keep stressing this. We're going to touch some things here in a second. You're going to like it. That's not to say you can't use ODL for other types like treasury and supply chain. Okay, now that's not small. However, as world changes, Ripple is deliberately focusing on specific use case that will serve what the market needs, which is the low value, high frequency payments. Okay. All right. So now let's move on to the comments really quickly here from Crypto Eddie. Shout out to her on this one. Hello, Ashish. Can you shed a little more light on this from your article? Thank you in advance. In particular, we are reducing emphasis on large treasury payments, which are traditionally used to fund businesses and services in the absence of real-time transfers. And down here, he says, it means that we'll focus on use cases where companies send individual low-value transactions. There isn't a solution in the market that fully addresses this other than ODL. It is the fastest growing payment segment. Huh. Interesting. Now, let's take a look at this. This is what we want to look at right now. I put out a video some time ago, and it's actually where the U.S. Congress was mentioned Ripple and XRP. Now, I got these clips I'm going to play from the pre-video I did, I guess it was almost a year ago. But let's take a listen here at 3:36 to this little clip right here. Here we go. Listen to the first clip right here from Mr. Gonzalez, former Indianapolis Colt. Shout out to Mike Jansen.
You also mentioned, Mr. Ahmed, we have 50 seconds, AML BSA compliance. As we transition, or potentially, hopefully transition to more of a blockchain system, that's one concern that everybody raises. Can you just provide your perspective on that? Is that a tech challenge? Is that a regulatory challenge? How can we be comfortable in that world?
Listen.
I think, as we heard, there are technological solutions to be able to track, transactions even with cryptography, depending on the type of cryptography, and it's quite a prism and quite a range, depending on what the solution is that's being offered. And then there's a regulatory challenge of how do you actually go after the types of things that you're worried about, but ensure that legitimate transactions are getting through. So I think it's probably a little bit of both.
And okay, so there you have it. He's talking about the market infrastructure that's needed in that particular segment. Now let me quickly move on to the next little spot here, which will be right here. Okay, let's listen to this spot right here. This part you're going to like. Now remember, Ripple just put out an article, a press release basically, that talking about focusing on low value SME payments, high frequency payments, right? Listen to this. This was in a congressional hearing. The person you're hearing speak, by the way, Mr. Ahmed, is from PayPal.
Comment on that?
I would just note that, for the kind of core banking architecture, I think there would probably be some changes needed in terms of Federal Reserve System. But for, smaller valuation or smaller amount payments, I think you already are seeing some blockchain-based systems being created that enable the movement of money. So I think there are examples out there. We talk about XRP or others that kind of offer this.
Wow. XRP or others. Didn't even say Ripple. He said XRP. And I'm sorry, did he say low value payments exactly like the article that just came out from Ripple? Did he
needed in terms of Federal Reserve System, but for, smaller valuation or smaller amount payments, I think you already are seeing some blockchain-based systems being created that enable the movement of money. So I think there are examples out there. We talk about XRP or others that
XRP or others in a congressional hearing. Mr. Ahmed from PayPal last year talking about what they're writing about today, which is focusing on what Mr. Ahmed is talking about could alleviate pain points in his business at PayPal. He also, in the beginning of that phrase, talked about there still matters that need to be addressed for the Federal Reserve, it appeared, right? So in this instance, from this video from last year that we covered, it sounds an awful lot like me like they're now putting that plan to work. And it's a phasing in plan. Started with a litmus test with MoneyGram. MoneyGram turns into what appears to be an internal treasury for ODL, right? Now we see an expansion of that idea out to SMEs. Well, after that should be the bank, shouldn't it? This seems like a phasing in implementation. Now, why would they do that instead of just all of a sudden, boom, just go with it all? And I think there'll be points when you see a big bang reaction to things. I really do believe that. However, we need to remember this, the XRP flywheel theory from last year. Now I'm going to bring you in. If you have not seen this video, I really highly suggest you watch this video, guys. I'm going to bring you in on this because I'm going to bring you in at 12:25 here and just listen.
This, ladies and gentlemen, Big Skinny, Cryptopolis, all pretty much feel like is what about to take place over the coming months and years with Ripple and XRP.
And that's exactly right. Now let's cue this back at where it starts to explain this part right here about Nostro Vostro accounts, which are pre-funded accounts for banks and businesses. Ours and yours. That's what Nostro and Vostro means. So it's really a matter of perspective, right?
Narrative here. The other larger narrative here is two buckets, right? One bucket, two buckets. This first bucket is dollars, let's say. Okay? And let's call this traditional. Traditional path. And in this bucket is XRP, right? And this new bridge path. Now, the old traditional path of payment is use dollars, right? And Nostro Vostro accounts. The new path doesn't require Nostro Vostro accounts. So, as the spinning, turning effect happens for the flywheel, driving the price up, releasing increments of their earmarked amount, we also have the effect that the bucket of liquidity is now moving from here and filling up this bucket. And the more we fill this bucket, the less we need Nostro-Vostro accounts. Come on in.
There you go. And that really is the deal. So when it comes back to this article that came out yesterday, it seems to me that we're on course to start to drain those buckets. These buckets right here that we're talking about, and taking that money and getting it from those dormant accounts, the Nostro-Vostro accounts, and having it moved over, repatriated, if you will, into collateralizing a position in XRP. That starts with remittances and now small, medium, and enterprise companies. As that builds, we get incremental increases in volume, payments, and price over time. Then you have the addition of banks at some point and all the partners on RippleNet. All right, guys, I just wanted to touch on this and provide a little perspective of things that I'm seeing when you turn around and look back at a lot of the information we've gone over before. With the current conditions of today, they take on quite a picture. I hope in some way we brought some clarity to all of this information and inspire a conversation to continue. Please hit the like and subscribe. If you like the content, share it with others. We will catch you guys on the next one. Take care.